Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Osayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?
Good morning and welcome to Ways Breakfast. Hashtag what are you saying? We're thrilled to start the day with you, our valued viewers. On this vibrant platform, we tackle the conversations that matter most. Of course, I'm your host for today. My name is Oluchi Omenka, your anchor, and I'm excited to share this stage, this panel with my talented co-anchor, Okikiola God's... Hey, did I just say God's beauty? Okikiola Taiwo Jalukpon. Good morning, girl.
Hi, good morning.
That means I miss God's beauty already. Because I'm always with her. Like if we're going to do a duo setup, it's always God's beauty and I. So I'll manage you.
Welcome to my life.
Welcome. How are you doing today?
Good. Manageably better than yesterday.
Do you believe that colors have a way to portray your emotions for the day? So somebody asked me today that, is your favorite color pink? And I just found myself thinking, I think it is because I wear pink a lot. And I think it just makes me feel vibrant, sharp, active, excited, all goofy. So let me ask you, this red you're wearing today, is it portraying your emotions for today? Are you dangerous, as they say?
No, this was just a wash and dry thing for me. It was just like, this is the quickest thing I can pick up so that I can get here as early as possible, and that was it.
But do you believe in color psychology?
Yes, I do.
So sometimes you dress according to your mood.
Sometimes when you wear a particular color, you can even have like an outfit picked out the day before. So what happens is that when you wake up that morning and you wear that outfit, and it's not just blending in, it's not you. It's not the clothes not fitting you. It's now that your mental state, your body, your energy for that morning does not just align with that outfit you had picked the day before, where you may be excited, tired, or something. So yes, color psychology is a real thing.
It actually works.
Yes,
good. And this is your cue to always, show up and show off and just be your best. It just does something to your mood and your relationship with people on that day. Guess what, people? We are bringing back an important segment that you're probably familiar with, and that's Today in History. So as we start the day, I'd love to be taking a moment to reflect on the significant events that shaped our world. Today, we're highlighting two fascinating milestones. In 2002, apologies, I did miss that. All right, let's take this short break. When we return, we'll go through Today in History again. Be right back shortly.
Looking to take your business to the next level through partnerships? Then join us every Thursday at 10 a.m. for Partner Up.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, marketing, sales, or partnership professional, Partner Up is here to give you the tools you need to succeed.
From in-depth interviews with industry experts
to real-world case studies of successful partnership strategies that drive innovation and business growth.
we dive deep into what it takes to form successful partnerships.
Thursdays, 10 a.m.
Don't miss Partner Up.
is a season of love. In partnership with Yasin, Heartlines will be giving away 4 luxurious, beautiful gifts to 4 lucky women. So stay tuned to the show to find out how you can win these incredible, luxurious gifts. And yes, gentlemen, you can participate to win on behalf of your better half, because truly, love is in the air. So catch me live Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. on Heartlines.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. So as I mentioned earlier, we're bringing back an important segment that we always have on this show, and that is Today in History. As we start the day, I would love to take a moment to reflect on the significant events that has shaped our world. Today we'll be highlighting 2 fascinating milestones. In 2002, former U.S. President George Bush delivered his State of the Union address, which had far-reaching implications for the country. And I find it intriguing to look back on this moment in history and consider how it continues to influence American politics. And delving deeper into history, in 1895, King Koko led a successful attack on the Royal Niger Company. And this courageous act of resistance is a testament to the strength and the resilience of African leaders. And as I reflect on this event, I'm reminded of the importance of preserving and honoring our cultural heritage. So what are your thoughts on these historical milestones? I'd love to hear your insight and perspectives. Remember, you're the main ingredient in our conversation. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Our phone lines are open. Please call us on 07025007749 or 07014242420. And if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button now. Like, share the link, tune into the channel 145 on your Go TV, and don't miss this at all. Now, let's quickly run and see what's making waves across the globe. The headline stories. We have The Punch and The Guardian newspaper this morning. So let's start with The Guardian from Okiki.
So quickly taking you through The Guardian newspaper, the headline reads, Expiration of exit notice, worry over regional security, trade in ECOWAS without Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Below that, we have federal government deploys single window system to recover $3 billion, meet $1 trillion target. Another story here is 2027, APC Sani Boala tackle Atiku El-Rufai as Obi clarifies on coalition. Another story here says African leaders partner commit $50 billion to improve power supply and others. We have a very lengthy letter here written to the president by High Chief Doctor Government Owezide Ekpemupolo. I'm struggling. Alias Tompolo from Ibe Ebidwowe of Ijo Nation and Chairman Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited. He wrote a lengthy letter, a letter of gratitude to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for signing into law the act establishing the Nigeria Maritime University of Kenekoro, Delta State. He says that he's very thankful, and I cannot read all he has said here, but that's like the summary of everything he said, being thankful that the Nigeria Maritime Academy now exists in Nigeria. that's all I have for the Guardian newspaper this
Interesting.
morning.
Let me take you through the Punch, and it has a way of linking us with what's happening overseas in the Western world. So I'm going to link the deportation story with the current Trump administration, and of course, what's happening locally here. So the tariff hike says subscribers head for court as NCC talks deadlocked. NCC mom as subscribers insist on reversal, demand on 10% tariff increase. Above that, we see 3,690 Nigerians listed as U.S. mass deportation continues. You were broke, Wike bankrolled your elections, Dogara tells Bauchi governors. And of course, the same letter is repeated here as read in the Guardian newspaper, so there's no need to go through that again. The one that's quite interesting is the fact that Nigerians were not left behind in Trump's immediate implementation of the whole immigration thing. I did watch a video, I think earlier this week, where Selena Gomez, one of Americans, I don't know if she's American right now, but she's a pop singer, the entertainer and all of that. And so she was crying in that video and was lamenting that there's nothing she can do to help her people. This Trump's deportation, like this immediate deportation thing he's doing, is causing a lot of harm. People do not know where to go and all. And I'm saying that Nigerians, they are falling prey to this. How do you think this positions us, I mean, on a global scale? What implication do you see to this? Because many of them, firstly, we must agree that illegal migration, it's illegal. It's against the books, right? So you one day or the other, you're going to face the books, and this has already started happening. What implication do you think it holds for us as a nation? And even to these individuals as well, who got there probably to make ends meet. We know how the Japa syndrome really injected people around 2020. I think from 2020 down upwards, I guess. And it's been so alarming. And now we're seeing that these people are coming back. So what implication do you think this holds on a global scale, on us as a nation, and even these individuals?
See, when I keep saying that there's no place like home, it almost seems like maybe it's far-fetched, or I'm trying to drag people who are looking for greener pastures down. But it still boils down to the fact that no matter where you go, where they are going to send you back to is your home. So how did you leave that place that you were born? Some people left to never come back, not knowing that maybe this kind of laws will be, put in place. Some people left with the hope that, okay, I'm going to do great things and then come back to my home country. So it's a blend of different experiences for everyone who is facing it. And the thing is that it's not just Nigerians. There are the Pakistanis, there are the Indians. Everybody is sort of facing this. Whatever happens to these people, when they come back, I think that they should just take it with good faith. With the fact that, okay, it could change tomorrow, that they're now taking, immigrants again, and then there's another opportunity maybe to go do things better or just stay where you are. So the implication is that everybody will shop it.
I just like to say, welcome back home. Welcome back to your dear country.
Nigeria.
We hail thee. All right, we'll take this short break. And when we return, the month of January is actually Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. So we have a guest, a specialist who will be joining us to shed light on this topic. So stay with us. We'll be right back with our guest for the hot topic for today.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time. Life.
Welcome to today's conversation about women's health. Now, January is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and we're honored to have renowned experts joining us to shed light on this vital topic. Please welcome Dr. Nwako Chinwoke Teresa, Senior Registrar of Family Medicine with a special interest in lifestyle medicine and women's health. Dr. Teresa brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to our discussion. Today, we're exploring the importance of prioritizing cervical health, delving into the latest awareness initiatives, prevention strategies, and early detection method. We're grateful to have Dr. Teresa share insight and guidance on this critical issue. Good morning, Dr. Teresa. I'd like you to unmute your mic. We can't really hear you over here. Okay, that's fine.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Glad to be.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. We're super glad to have you here to talk about this on our platform. I remember behind the scene when we were, discussing, doing audio check, and you mentioned that this particular topic gets you excited. So we like to even have guests or experts who are excited about what they're discussing because it makes it even more engaging, more insightful and informative. So we're glad to have you join us, and we think you're just the best for this conversation. So let's start off with the very first question. What are the most common misconceptions about cervical health and cervical cancer in the world today?
Thank you very much for that interesting question. I'll first start with just giving a brief summary of what is cervical cancer. So it's an abnormal growth that can happen at the neck of the womb. That's the tail end of the womb. So it is something that usually happens to women because they have the womb, obviously. And then there are certain things. It's actually a sexually transmitted infection. If you want to really simplify it, because it is caused by the human papilloma virus, and that virus can be transmitted through sexual intercourse. Although, however, there are other type of cervical cancer that is not related to sexual intercourse. So let's come down to the common myths that we see with cervical that people have generally. So one of them is it's a spiritual attack. That's the one that, I hear all the time in my office, and it just makes me laugh because there's nothing spiritual about cervical cancer. Like I said, it's related to sexually transmitted infection, and it can be, it's treatable. So another thing is some people are like, oh, once you get cervical cancer, you can't treat it. No, it can be picked up very early. You can even prevent it, and it can be treated. Then another thing, I've heard other things at my clinic, some people will come up and say, it's a toilet disease. It has nothing to do with the toilets. So it's very clear, and it's one of those cancers that we actually understand what is causing it. It's caused by a viral infection, and it can be picked up during unprotected sexual intercourse. Although there are some few type of cervical cancer that has nothing to do with intercourse as well. And we can pick it up by screening and early detection, and there are treatments for it. Then there are other ones that people would say, oh, maybe if you marry very young, if you have many sexual partners, it can cause it. Yes, it's possible that if you have a lot of sexual partners and you have unprotected sex, you are at risk of having cervical cancer. But it doesn't mean that you will have cervical cancer. So there are two different things. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much for that. So you already clarified how it's a sexually transmitted disease. But while I was reading, I also saw things like age. I saw things like weak immune system. I saw things like the HPV you said. I saw family history. So it keeps I'm thinking about it, that does it mean that almost all women are at risk of cervical cancer, or is just particular to maybe an age group, or maybe if you know, especially people who are not even aware of maybe family history, if they have had cervical cancer before, especially if they relate it to spiritual attack, and they say that the spiritual attack has come again. So some people don't know. So I want to know, apart from it being a sexually transmitted disease, what other ways can you get or can you be infected by cervical cancer?
Thank you very much for that question. That's a really good question. It's not the point you mentioned, they are not causes, they are risk factors. That's what we call them. It means they predispose a patient or a person, a female, from coming down with cervical cancer, but they are not causes. There's a difference between risk factors and a cause. A cause is something that has been established that this thing can lead to cervical cancer. Risk factors are these factors, if you're exposed to them, they increase the likelihood that the patient may have cervical cancer, but not necessarily. So you mentioned immunocompromised state. Yes, if the immunity is lowered, any infection, any disease can come up in the body. Another point is that family history. Yes, there are certain cancers that are strongly related, they run in the family, because some families have what we call cancer gene that predispose them or increase the likelihood that they might come down with cancer. But cervical cancer there is no strong relationship between cervical cancer and family history. Cervical cancer is more of a sexually transmitted infection. It can be prevented, it can be picked up early, and it can be treated. So that's one of the message that I really want to our viewers to take home today, that you can actually prevent it by getting vaccinated. You can pick it up early by screening regularly, and it can be treated when we pick it up early, and you would live a normal life afterwards.
Great. So talking about picking it up early, and since it's the awareness month, I think many women are sometimes oblivious to certain symptoms that they have. Like you mentioned, whenever a woman has, some problems with her reproductive system, we can quickly dismiss it for toilet infection. I mean, that's just like the simplest thing to say, oh, it's a toilet infection. So I want to know, what are the most common symptoms of cervical cancer, and how can women recognize them?
Brilliant question. Right. So the common symptom of cervical cancer is no symptom. That's why you need to speak. Yes, the patient might not have anything. You are normal, walking around, doing your business, nothing. That can be one of the symptoms. And that's why it's so important to do the screening. And we will talk about how often we do that. But let me just focus on the symptoms for now. Then another common symptom that we see is what we call postcoital bleeding. Postcoital bleeding, let me just explain that big word. Just means that after intercourse, some women would notice slight bleeding afterwards, and then there might be bleeding in between the periods, and sometimes there is a discharge that might be bloody, and it could be foul smelling as well. Those are the common symptoms. Then later on, these ones are late symptoms, but the early symptoms is what I've just mentioned. So no symptom, then postcoital bleeding, that is just after intercourse, there might be bleeding. Pelvic pain, those are later symptoms. Then weight loss, those are the things you see much, much later. So if you are seeing those ones, it means we didn't do our screening, we didn't pick it up early, and that's not good. So we want to pick it when the woman has no symptoms, or is just having maybe postcoital bleeding, which is bleeding after intercourse. So those are the common symptoms. But one of the things that the take home for today is that there might be no symptoms. This is why it's so important to do the screening. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like a follow-up question on that before my co-anchor asks another one. I did attend a seminar, a health seminar, and I remember this particular expert was saying that, when ladies or young girls attain a particular age, they need to get the I think he was mentioning that when they start getting sexually active, then HPV vaccine is very important. I want to clarify this for us, if it's the same thing with the pap smear. So how often should women get the pap smear? What are the benefits of regular screening? Is there like an age limit to it, like maybe from this age, from 13 to 50? How often should women get pap smear, and what are the benefits?
Fantastic question. So for the screening, for the vaccination, please, it's best to start vaccination before the first intercourse. So we want to catch the young girls early, from age 9, 14, before they even get exposed to the virus. Because, we said earlier on that cervical cancer is caused by human papillomavirus. So it's a sexually transmitted infection. That means before the young girls get exposed, we want to introduce the vaccine. What does the vaccine do? All it does is stimulates the body to make antibodies. So they are like proteins that help to fight off the infection. So your body is ready that, if I get this virus, if I get exposed, then I can fight it off. My body can clear it. So the routine vaccination should start from age 9 to 14. Then there are also other vaccinations scheduled for older girls from 15 to 26. Research has shown that if we vaccinate young girls earlier, before they get exposed, as in they become sexually active, the vaccine is more effective, and it actually covers about 90% of the HPV virus that can lead to cervical cancer. So it really, really reduces the risk of cervical cancer in young girls. That doesn't mean there are some research that said you can actually vaccinate older women, even up to age 40, but the efficacy of the vaccine as you get older reduces.
Okay. So what then is the pap smear? I don't think you've explained that one.
Right. So let's come to the screening now. So we have talked about vaccination. There are different methods of prevention of cervical cancer. So one of them is we can vaccinate. That's one mode of prevention. So vaccination is we start early, we catch the young girls 9 to 14 before they become sexually active, we vaccinate them. Now, vaccination doesn't mean we don't screen. Screening is just a test that we do to pick up early changes that might lead to cervical cancer. And also, it helps us to detect disease very early at the stage where we can treat it with very simple therapy, and the patient will be cured and they are cancer-free. So there are several ways that we can do our screening. We can do a pap smear. There's a conventional pap smear. So what we do, we just, prepare the women. They come in. Usually the screening exercise starts from age 25. And we counsel them to come into the clinic way after their period. They should be fully dried. Then we use a speculum, just examine, open up, and then go to the neck of the womb, and we take some samples around that, send it to the lab, and we get our results. So that's one conventional way of doing it. There's also what we call a liquid-based cytology. Those ones are big words, but it's also another way of testing. It's more sensitive than the conventional pap smear. But the pap smear is a simple test that we use to screen for cervical cancer. There are other tests that we can do. That's the HPV, that's human papillomavirus DNA antigen. We can also test for the antigen. It means it's a part of a particle or part of the virus itself in the body can be detected as well. So if we are doing the conventional pap smear screening, we start from age 25 and we screen them every 3 years until they are age 65. But that depends on if you have a normal pap smear. So if your pap smear comes back, usually you get your results about three weeks. 3 weeks. You get your result of the pap smear. So if it comes back normal, you counsel the woman, okay, your pap smear is normal, so I don't need to see you again. You can come back in 3 years' time and we'll redo the testing. But if you combine the DNA testing, that's the human papillomavirus antigen testing, with the pap smear, you can actually do it every 5 years. So now there are also other highfalutin tests, which I don't think that one concerns us for today, but that's about the screening. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So when you were mentioning testing, it looks very simplified, but then I'm still looking at how I'm trying to bring it down to our primary healthcare system. How many of these, nurses, doctors know that, especially for children from age 9 to 14, as you mentioned, how often do they know that they're supposed to, tell parents or even inform kids or guardians that their children, they themselves should get tested for, cervical cancer, and how early detection is important, how vaccine is important? These things look like something that you probably have to go to the maybe Lutz or Lasut or these places to get tested. Bringing it down to our primary healthcare system, what is being done to, inform and advocate for early detection of cervical cancer?
Thank you very much for that question. So I am a family physician. I'm a senior registrar in family medicine. We work at the grassroots level. We are the first contact doctors. So this is part of our own bread and butter. We are supposed to see patients. We discuss pap smear with them. With each contact, once I see a woman, I tell them about pap smear. And if they are old enough to get tested, I discuss timing with them when they can come in. Pap smear is also available at the primary healthcare center. It's a very simple process. It takes about less than 10 minutes to get a pap smear done. And there are no special, preparation. The only thing is that the woman should not be in their period, and they just come in. It's not painful, but it requires that we get to the neck of the womb. So it requires some, opening and going in. So there will be some contact between the healthcare provider and the patient. So it can be done by nurses, it can be done by healthcare workers. And one of the ways we try to talk about the screening is what we're doing now. So we are discussing in an open forum. There are radio jingles, there are pamphlets that are printed out to discuss with, that we can hand out to patients, their families, the healthcare workers, even at the grassroots level, can educate patients about screening. We also do community outreach. And the government has really tried in that area because there's a lot of information out there. We have been reaching out to people, talking about screening and being available to get it done. There are several things we do in the community that can help. So another thing that we do one-on-one counseling to tell families and the patient as well about it, that you should get screened. So those are the things we're doing.
All right, this has been very insightful so far, but I would like to take this very short break, and when we return, we'll look through the advocacy being done for cervical awareness, and we'll be right back shortly. So please stay with us.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back and thank you for joining us. Today is Wednesday, our health and mental health segment, and we've been joined by an expert guest, a doctor, who has helped us to open up on cervical cancer, the risk, the awareness, and even advocacy. So I'd like to further continue our conversation. Dr. Chinwe, do we still have you here with us?
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you beautifully well.
All right.
All right, let's continue the conversation from that advocacy point that we're talking about. So how can healthcare providers and policymakers work together to improve cervical health outcomes? Let's even talk the affordability of it, because I know we should go for vaccines, screenings and all, but how affordable is it for just regular average Nigerians that are living? Because sometimes when Nigerians know that some of these things that are essential, it's quite pricey, they give up on it, and then we still have recurrent issues. So what's being done to ensure that it's accessible to these people, the affordability, and how these providers or policymakers working together to improve the health outcome?
So the family physician, being at the first contact physician, one of the things we do, we try to dialogue with the stakeholders to try and reduce the costs. And I must commend the Nigerian government. 2023, October, they actually initiated a nationwide vaccination for girls from age 9 to 14. So even my daughter's school, she was able to get the HPV vaccine in school. And then we had an outreach even in Lasut. So we're trying, I think there is some movement now trying to ensure that the young girls get the vaccines. So that's one very, very fantastic thing that happened in 2023. And no matter how little the effort, we have to commend that effort. Then another way that we can advocate is for us to dialogue. The healthcare workers need to come up with the stakeholders. Those are the lawmakers, to try to, one, if it's possible, to reduce the cost of the pap smear, because the pap smear is actually expensive.
Okay.
So, and it's not everybody that would it. But then there are other tests that that is done in the healthcare, as in the primary healthcare centers. They do what we call acetic acid stain or Lugol iodine stain. Those are just very basic screening. It's just more like to pick up any abnormality in the cervix, and then ask those ones that are positive to now get a pap smear. So that way you are eliminating those that don't have any symptoms, so they are at least not spending money to go and get an expensive test that they can't even afford in the first place. So we're picking up those ones that need it and then getting them to do the conventional pap. But the ideal thing is for every woman from age 25 to be able to do the conventional pap testing, which is a more sensitive test and it's a more reliable test in picking up early detection of cervical cancer so that they can get the treatments that they require. Because cervical cancer is actually one of the commonest cancers that we see in developing countries, in low and middle income countries in the world today. So it means that enough has not been done. There's still a lot of work to be done. And I must thank you guys for offering this program where we can reach out to people, talk, so that there is more awareness about cervical health, cervical cancer, debunk myths, and answer questions that will help one or two people to actually get screened. Because some people, they even have the means to get screened, but they don't have the knowledge. And we say knowledge is power. So thank you very much.
Thank you too.
So I wanted to quickly also dissect the age groups of women. And you mentioned that as you grow older, the efficacy of the vaccine reduces. But now we have different women, some who have never given birth and are still maybe age 40, 45. We also have some who have had kids. We also have some who have gone through cesarean section, some who had vaginal delivery. So I just want to understand what, does any of those age group or set of populations, is there one that has maybe a higher risk of cervical cancer than the other? Or it's just like a general thing that anybody, regardless of the experiences that maybe your womb or your cervix has gone through, regardless of that fact, anyone can get cervical cancer?
I would want to do a general statement, even though they are, in medicine, we never say never. So there are always exceptions. But generally, cervical cancer has nothing to do with if you have had a vaginal birth, if you had a cesarean section. No. It's a simple thing. It is associated with infection of human papilloma virus, and it is a preventable disease. It can be picked up early, and it is curable. That's the message we want to bring out today for everybody to understand. Now, what are the risk factors? We already mentioned it. Smoking is a risk factor. So please, I'm a lifestyle coach. And one of the things I recommend is if you smoke or you sit around people that smoke, it's time to change, because smoking is one of the cardinal risk factors for cervical cancer. It is not a cause of cervical cancer. There is only one cause for cervical cancer. That is exposure to the human papilloma virus. And it's not even the exposure. Being exposed to human papilloma virus, the body can still clear it. But that's one of the major things that is associated that can lead to cervical cancer. It doesn't mean that everybody that had exposure of human papilloma virus will have cervical cancer. I hope the message is very clear.
Very clear.
And
okay. Please go ahead. Sorry to cut you short.
Other risk factors are if the immune system is lowered, you are not able to fight off infection. So anybody, you can come down with anything. It can be cancer, it can be other infections, okay? Then for people that have multiple sexual partners, because with multiple sexual partners, you are exposed to the virus over and over again, especially if it's unprotected sex. By that, I mean we don't use condom. And there's one other message I would like to put across. That is the ABCD of STI, sexually transmitted infection. That's my mnemonic. So the A, we say for very young girls, is abstinence if that is possible. If it's not possible, please be faithful to a faithful partner. If that is still not possible, correct and consistent use of the condom. And then if it's possible, to delay intercourse until later. That is one of the message I bring today. We call it the ABCD of sexually transmitted infection. Then other risk factors can also be if there's family history of, I think I mentioned that earlier on,
yes,
there's family history, but the family history, it really is not a strong risk factor for cervical cancer. It is related to other cancers. For the family history, I actually came across an article that linked it even to lifestyle, that maybe the family have the same lifestyle, maybe they smoke in the family and there's secondhand smoking as well, that can lead to the increase. But there's no strong association between cervical cancer and family history. But family history is important because there are some people that have what we call cancer gene, and that runs in the family. So it increases their risk of any type of cancer. Not necessarily cervical cancer.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
I think one significant thing we're taking home is the ABCD thing. We're going to put it out very loudly so that the world will hear. You mentioned something that you're also a lifestyle coach and you're very keen on that. So do you think diet and lifestyle can influence cervical health? And are there specific preventive measures that women should adopt?
Thank you so much for that question. This is the one that gets me excited. Once we talk about lifestyle, I get very excited. I want to jump up and down because this is how I'm going to wrap up.
Okay.
So lifestyle, yes, there are things that we can do to help prevent cervical cancer. But, we have to start with the most important ones, which we have talked about. Vaccination, that is one of them. Educating the public, debunking all sort of myths so people know the truth. Then we talk about the screening. Early detection is very important. The screening exercise is important. Please, this is something that concerns us women. So let's invest. If you can afford to get a pap smear done, please get it done. Go to your personal doctor or your family physician. Tell them that you want to get a pap smear done and have a discussion with them. Then other things that we can do now that can help to prevent cancers in general, not just cervical cancer, is the lifestyle. So diet that is healthy, wholesome diet. So eating more of plant-based whole meal diets, drinking God's own water, getting some exercise out there. So getting up at your free time, maybe with your friends, walk, just do power walking for like 30 minutes, you sweat, you come back, you have a shower and you feel good. These are things that can help. Then reducing meat, especially red meat from our diet, reducing it and increasing the vegetables. The vegetables and fruits are loaded with antioxidants. Antioxidants fight off free radicals. Those are things that later transform normal cells to cancer cells in the body. So if we can get in enough vegetables, the vegetables are there. You know, Africa is blessed because we have all the greens, the green vegetables, the different colors. I usually say, let your plate look like the color of the rainbow. So have the carrots in there, the peas, the lettuce, anything you can think of. Ugu, eforiro, bitter leaf, they are all vegetables that we're talking about, cucumbers, anyone that you like. And then all the fruit, the seasonal fruit, whatever is in season. I think agbalumo is coming up in season.
I can't wait for it.
I usually, please look out for it and enjoy yourself. And then reduce intake of sugar. So a lot of carbonated sugary drinks is one of the things I also say, if we can reduce intake of that and increase intake of water. Most times we're dehydrated, we don't know, and we just reach out for that bottle of carbonated drink with lots of sugar, or we eat a little bit more instead of quenching our thirst with water. So drink enough and be active, and then find time to rest. Stress is another problem we have in this country. So find time to rest. And remember the question I asked you, if you had a restorative sleep, try and
Yes,
get that.
Yes, you did ask that. Restorative sleep, that means
in this Nigeria.
That means you can even sleep for very long hours and it's not restoring anything. You're waking up still feeling fatigued and cranky. So I think restorative sleep is something to look out for.
How many hours would you recommend as a restorative sleep? Or is there a form that you're supposed to sleep, maybe on your side, on your back, or your chest, that is going to like give you the best of sleep? Yes, and restore your energy and everything like that.
It's a big topic. If you want to go to sleep, it's a big topic, but let me just give some nuggets. Okay. So what we say is try to not eat a very big meal at night time, especially carbohydrate meal. Make it like light towards evening, have vegetables, fruits, and lots of water. Reduce intake of carbohydrate. It helps you to sleep better. Then turn off the lights. Don't sleep with bright lights or blue lights in your room. They also interfere with sleep. And then your phone, your electronic gadgets, they interfere with your sleep. Take a comfortable position. It doesn't matter if you're sleeping face up, side. Take a comfortable position. You will sleep a lot better.
How about music? Sleeping with music, something in the background.
But not listening to techno or rock, because I think that one will keep you awake.
But I was asking how many hours would you recommend as like sleep for a very...
For adults, we usually say 6 to 8 hours. You should get 6 to 8 hours. I know that is difficult, especially in Lagos, but please, let's try.
And motivational speakers will say 6 to 8 hours, you're not ready for your life.
No, new research. These are evidence-based research that I'm talking about. So we need to... when we didn't have these studies, people think that, if you sleep maybe up to 6 hours, you're lazy, you're not doing enough work. You should be out there, work throughout the night. No. We have come up, studies have shown that if you're not getting as much as 6 hours, you can come down with high blood pressure. It's also a risk factor for type 2 diabetes and also for other mental illness. So for our own mental well-being, we want to put in at least 6 hours of restorative sleep.
Restorative sleep, that's very
I
key.
think that's what I start telling people that I
Did
want
you
to
have a restorative sleep?
No, I just when I go off at night, I just be like, I want to go and have a restorative sleep. I'll see you in the morning or something like that. Exactly.
You guys are not like cookies. Hold
Yeah.
on.
So we're about wrapping up the show, but I'd like you to leave your last words on how men, because we didn't put men in this conversation at all. So are there any roles, specific roles that men can play, ensuring that women are, healthy as regards the cervical health that we've been discussing?
Looking like it's even a sexually transmitted disease.
Brilliant question. So men, their role is very important in the family. Very, very important. So it's not something that can be ignored. They are supportive in terms of, making sure that their partner gets, sometimes it's even the men. I've seen where men are the ones that remind their wives, look, you haven't done your pap. You need to go in to see your doctor and get your pap done. So that gentle reminder to ensure that you get your pap test done. And then the supportive role, ensuring that, maybe the funds are available to make it, to ensure that the ladies get the pap done. So those are some of the roles that men can play. I must say, I didn't want to divert my attention from the main talk today, but the HPV vaccine, there is a place for HPV vaccine for males because HPV vaccine also prevents penile cancer. So because we're just starting here in Africa, we are still focusing on the girl child, but hopefully over time, we would also go ahead and vaccinate the male child because we can also reduce incidence of penile cancer for them as well by giving them the human papillomavirus vaccine. So my wrap, one of the things I want to, the take home, please, if you have a young girl, 9 to 14 years, talk to your family physician, talk to your healthcare provider about getting vaccinated. Don't be afraid to get the vaccine. The vaccine is safe. I know there is a lot of misconception out there. Anti-vax are saying, there's sterility, it might reduce your chances of having a child later in the future. That is all myths. There's no truth in that. You get vaccinated, it prevents the formation of cervical cancer for young girls, and the efficacy is as good as 90%. So it is something that is worth talking about and worth getting. Then the screening exercise, also very important. If you are age 25 and above, and you are below age 65, if you have never done a pap smear test, please speak to your healthcare provider. You should get one done.
Thank you so much. This has been very insightful, and we have to wrap up now.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chinwe.
Thank you so much.
We'd like to have you again to discuss, some other health topics because you are really an enthusiastic one to discuss with. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you to our co-anchor for contributing as well to this discussion. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us. Ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. And you can interact with us further, drop a comment. Most importantly, follow all our social media engagement and remember to like, share, and comment. Invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. Have a wonderful day and see you tomorrow.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?